It's Sunday, June 15th, 2025. I'm TC Kirkham, and this is the Kirkham Report.
TC Kirkham, the Kirkham Report.
ABC, TC Kirkham here. Welcome to this week's Kirkham Report on TKR Video Central. I'm very happy you joined us. I'm sorry for the day's delay. We had, I usually record the show Saturday morning or early Saturday afternoon. Yesterday we had the building doing some work in the foyer, which is right next to my office. Bang, 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 pound, 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 boom, 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 for 4 hours. By 2 o'clock, I'm just like, there's no way I'll get it done in time. We'll do it tomorrow. So that's why I was out yesterday. We had all kinds of maintenance crap going on out there. And of course, it has to happen on a week when we have a ton of stuff to talk about. I have a very full show this week. Let's not waste any time. Let's get started right here with this week's cover story. The music world has had a hell of a week this week, losing two of the most incredible musicians of all time. On June 9th, we lost Sylvester Sly Stone, the leader of Sly and the Family Stone. He was 82 years old. Sly Stone was an innovator. In the late 60s, he began mashing soul and R&B sounds with blues and psychedelic rock, and came up with a style of music that would later be referred to as funk. He, James Brown, and a few other people were experimenting in that way at the time. From 1968 to 1972, Sly and the Family Stone had a string of monster hits. Thank You, Hot Fun in the Summertime, Family Affair, all kinds of great stuff. They were one of the best acts. Sly got into a lot of trouble with drugs and alcohol abuse over the years. He had a lot of things going on between the time the band slid down in the mid-70s until today, but he continued to work, continued to write, did all kinds of stuff, and he's responsible for some of the best early funk music around. There's a reason why Sly and the Family Stone Greatest Hits is one of the best-selling albums of all time. Everybody loves that music. He was incredibly creative, a wonderful songwriter, and just amazing all the way around. He will be sorely missed. And were we no sooner were we starting to recover or starting to pick things up from learning Sly had passed, that we lost one of the most musical geniuses of all time, Brian Wilson. Brian Wilson was 82 years old. He passed away on June 11th. Brian was the leader of the Beach Boys from the very beginning. I think Mike Love might dispute that a few times. And the eldest of the three Wilsons. He was the only one left. What can you say about somebody whose genius for rock music was comparable to that of Mozart for classical music? He was in his teens when he was experimenting with new sounds. By his early 20s, he had started abusing drugs and alcohol, unfortunately, but it led to a completely new look for him, coming up with some of the most innovative music ever heard. the Beach Boys have remained a staple of rock music for the past 70 years. That seems 60 years, excuse me, and that just seems incredible to me. Um, Wilson's life was documented a number of times, a couple of documentaries, and an excellent 2016 biopic called Love and Mercy with Paul Dano as the 60s Brian and John Cusack as the 80s Brian. That was weird casting. But that movie was one of our favorites of that year. It was absolutely really well done and showed Brian's descent into mental illness in the mid 60s and his return from and continued battle against his addiction demons and his mental illness in the 80s and beyond. A great movie. When I was a kid, I largely preferred the Beach Boys over the Beatles. I was born in 1963, so the Beach Boys had had their first big hit a year earlier, and the Beatles also would come in that time frame. But I always preferred I borrowed my uncle's greatest hits Beach Boys album and played it to death constantly. Brian wrote some incredible stuff, both on his own and with Mike Love and with Al Jardine and with Bruce Johnston. Just terrific stuff. Those 60s, early 60s stuff are classic. Surfer Girl, Surfing USA, Catch a Wave, which is my all-time favorite early Beach Boys song, and it's also the melody that was used for Sidewalk Surfing by Jan and Dean, which Brian wrote for them. It was he was an incredible visionary. Brian is the kind of person that doesn't come along very often. You usually see one or two people with their kind of skills in your general lifetime. Right now, the person I tend to call a genius is an Icelandic musician named Daddy Freyr. He is up there, but even Daddy is nowhere near the level Brian Wilson was. The music industry is going to be reeling for years with the loss of these two people. And this week I will pay tribute to both of them and another person we lost recently on Obscuria. So I hope you'll check it out Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. And we'll also have a couple of other songs in there too. And talk a little bit about my memories of Sly Stone and Brian Wilson on those Obscuria episodes. Gentlemen, you will be sorely missed. And that's this week's cover story. Jump into the time machine and find out the number one hits of a chart year from a variety of music sources. Flashback tracks, Thursdays, 4 p.m. USET, TKR Video Central on YouTube. 2 solid hours of your favorite dance music classics. Crank up the speakers, turn on the mirror ball, and trip the life fantastic. It's Saturday Night Disco Party. Saturdays, 11 p.m. USET, TKR Video Central on YouTube. Out of the box this week, I picked up one new thing, and I actually had time to listen to it before I got to do the show, which I usually don't because I usually get stuff on Thursday and Friday, but because of the delay yesterday, I was able to listen to this, and so I can talk about the album too. This is the debut solo album from actor and musician Finn Wolfhard. It is called Happy Birthday. This is interesting artwork, I guess. Finn has already made a name for himself as a musician, first as the leader of Calpurnia and then as the leader of the duo The Aubreys, which came from Calpurnia's ashes with Calpurnia drummer Malcolm Craig. But they've been doing some separate stuff over the last couple of years. The Aubreys have not split up. They did confirm that a couple of weeks ago. It came with this hype sticker, which is clear. You can't really see it. So Finn decided to do a solo album in the meantime. Now, I've always said, from the very beginning, Calpurnia included. Finn is not the best singer in the world, but he's getting better all the time. This album, though, is so lo-fi, I think that's the right term, that it's sometimes hard to understand the lyrics. If I wasn't following along with the lyric sheet, I don't know if you can see it or not because the light's not right in here yet, and the credits and stuff. If I wasn't following along, I'm not sure I would have really been able to talk about it. The album comes on this cool white paint splatter vinyl, plays beautifully. And just to be safe, because I wanted to rip it for the computer, I also bought the CD. I did actually listen to both of them, so just to see how they sounded, and the sound is comparable. Finn is an acquired taste. That's the best way to put it. I acquired it because I was drawn to him because I collect actors who make music. I've made that abundantly clear, and Finn is best known for his role as Mike on Stranger Things and in the new Ghostbusters movies. Now he's getting into directing and producing. He just co-directed and co-wrote Hell of a Summer, which is now available on demand. It was they got pretty good reviews. It was a horror comedy. This album, it's not bad. It's not great, not perfect, but it's not bad. There's some really good stuff on it, including Choose the Ladder, Trailers After Dark, and surprisingly, Every Town There's a Darling, which is a rather short song. That's another thing that annoys me about a lot of artists. I grew up musically in the 70s and 80s. Songs were 3, 4, 5, 9 minutes long. This album lasts less than 30 minutes. It has 3 songs that are less than 2 minutes on it. Overall, though, I would recommend it. If you're a Finn Wolfhard fan, you're going to want this in your collection. If you like the Aubreys, you like Calpurnia, you'll love this. It's really great. I like both of them. The mix is a little off for me in a couple of the songs, where you can actually hear some of the scratchiness of what they were recording. He recorded this, I think, in Chicago, if I'm not mistaken, which is where he usually goes to record. Most of Calpurnia's stuff recorded there, and I believe one of the Aubreys albums was recorded there also. But it is worth having, and if you're a fan of that kind of style, lo-fi, I'll have a link to the show notes to the album on Spotify. It is an interesting take and an impressive debut as a solo artist for Finn. I always look forward to it. This is Happy Birthday from Finn Wolfhard. I'm happy to add it to my collection, and I will be playing several of the songs quite often. The single trailer, Choose the Ladder, has already been on the Kirkham Report chart, so, and they usually do. And that is out of the box for this week.
Hey gang, we've got merch. Show off your love for all things TKR. Find t-shirts and more in the TKR swag shop. Click on the link in the show description. If she's thinking about it, you know she's bound to have an opinion on it. Kim Takes On. Alternate Tuesdays, 7 p.m. USET. TKR Video Central on YouTube.
Spotlight, shining bright, day and night. We light up the stars with spotlight.
I don't usually like to get really serious on this show. I try to keep a lighthearted feel about it. But the news that broke this week, that I talked about, if you saw my post on Friday, I need to bring up. Contemporary Christian singer Michael Tait has made a pretty much full confession about things that have happened over the last 2 decades. He was accused earlier this year, which I was unaware of until Friday or Thursday, of sexual misconduct by 3 men, and Tait has been a part of my life since 1989. He was one third of the contemporary Christian rap act known as DC Talk, and I am a huge fan of DC Talk. There have been investigations by The Guardian, by a couple of TikTok channels, by a number of other people, and allegations were made. He released a statement on his Instagram which reads in part, quote, is titled My Confession and is dated June 10th. Quote, recent reports of my reckless and destructive behavior, including drug and alcohol abuse and sexual activity, are sadly largely true. For some 2 decades, I used and abused cocaine, consumed far too much alcohol, and at times touched men in an unwanted, sensual way. I am ashamed of my life choices and actions and make no excuses for them. I will simply call it what God calls it, sin. I don't blame anyone or anything but myself. While I might dispute certain details in the accusations against me, I do not dispute the substance of them. I'm ashamed to admit for years I have lied and deceived my family, friends, fans, and even misled my bandmates about aspects of my life. I was, for the most part, living 2 distinctly different lives. I was not the same person on stage Sunday night that I was at home on Monday. I was violating everything I was raised to believe in by my God-fearing mom and dad about walking with Jesus, and was grieving the very God that I loved and sang about for most of my life. By His grace, I can say that for the past 6 months, I have lived a singular life, one of utter brokenness and total dependence on a loving and merciful God. He goes on to make several other admissions and statements here. Michael Tait is an amazing performer. His lead vocals, along with Toby McKeegan's rap and Kevin Max's lead vocals, made DC Talk one of the biggest bands of all time in the current Christian community. And they had a couple of crossover hits too. They should have had more, if you ask me. In 2023, I did an episode of Influencers about DC Talk. I have removed that episode from my channel for the time being. I will eventually repost it because DC Talk's music got me through some really rough times in the early 90s. And I loved their sound. I don't always agree with their viewpoints as Christian musicians, but I do love their sound, and I love the feel they brought to me. I remain fans of all 3 men. I have purchased Michael's solo stuff, and also with Newsboys and Kevin Max, as well as Toby Max stuff. Over the years, I have continued to be a fan of all 3 of them. I simply feel that that episode is not appropriate to have up right now, given the accusations that have been made and the admissions that have been made. I will probably make it available again once I can see that Michael is sincere and has worked hard to get back to where he can be comfortable with his life, away from alcohol and drug abuse and sexual abuse and things. Quite honestly, it was very hurting to me. I would have never imagined somebody like him doing that. Unfortunately, just because you're a Christian does not mean you're not human. And he will have to deal with that as he gets on the road to recovery. And I hope that he will be able to successfully navigate that road for the rest of his life. I'm really rooting for you, Michael. As much as I feel hurt that you kind of stabbed all your fans in the back, stabbed your family and friends in the back, the fact that you've come out with this, you've sought treatment, that you were in treatment and starting in January, it's why you left Newsboys. that you're on your way to getting the help you need. That matters a lot. I hope to be able to put that DC Talk episode back up again, because you guys' music was awesome. I wish you all the best. And that is this week's Spotlight.
TC's personal music charts, week by week, year by year, from the beginning. TKR's Classic Charts Countdown, Mondays 4 p.m. US ET, TKR Video Central on YouTube. A different top hits countdown from hundreds of radio stations around the world each week. Radio Retro Countdown, Sundays 4 p.m. US ET, TKR Video Central on YouTube.
Inside the Boot this week, how's things going? Well, I got all 3 of the new shows premiered last week. I hope you had a chance to check them out. Celestial Journeys on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Friday Night Hair Salon. We had a few people in the chat Friday night for that. All heavy metal and hair metal music. Fridays at 9. And the new twice weekly Radio Retro Flashback. I got all those up last week. As well as the return of both Radio Retro Countdown for its 3rd season, and finally got Classic Charts back up and running. I'm a week behind where I wanted to be because of things going on and because of other issues I was having. I decided, because I still haven't been able to get the cameras fixed, I will return to doing the on-camera stuff, influencers, Vinyl Recall, Label Nova, and a few of the other news things I want to do outside of this show. I will return to doing as soon as I can get the damn cameras to work. I've tried multiple ideas with both the Brio and the new Ozbot. I can't get either one of them to work with this computer. They both work fine on Kim's laptop. They, for some reason, are not working on this computer. I've checked drivers. I've checked everything. So I'm continuing to work on that. Hopefully, those shows will be back this week. I have them all ready to go. Influencers and Vinyl Recall and Label Nova, they're all ready to go. I just am waiting for the better camera and to finish the lighting, which I'm going to be doing later today, and I hope, and getting things done. In any case, I hope you did enjoy. I had a lot of fun. I got some good word of mouth on Celestial Journeys, which is a 2-hour long form show that is designed for your midweek relaxation. It is new age, smooth jazz, some light vocals occasionally. Got a lot of praise on that one. And I can't thank you enough for that. And I hope people will spread the word about that. Friday Night Hair Salon was a blast to do. I had a couple people in the chat with me on Friday night. I won't always be there. It'll be every now and then I'll do a premiere where I'm there. But most of the time, Fridays, I think most of the listens will come way later than that because Friday night everybody's out. But I wanted a companion for Saturday Night Disco Party and Sunday Night AM 70s, and that's where I went with that because I knew it was going to be fun to do, and it was. I had a lot of great hair metal on this week's show, and there'll be a lot more on the next week's show as well. I hope everybody enjoyed that. The Radio Retro Flashback, I haven't gotten any feedback on yet. I'm hoping people have been watching it. It does look like they have been. But I would appreciate a comment or two. Let me know what you thought of it. This is a new show where I'm playing segments or full episodes, if they're small, of syndicated radio shows from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Stuff that I used to listen to or that I was aware of. And stuff that, just enjoyed it. This last week we did 2 episodes of Record Report with Robert W. Morgan. This week I'll be doing 1 or 2 different things. I've got a ton of stuff in my transcription collection that I'm going to be digitizing and bringing over. And I have some on CD that will keep me going while I get the vinyl digitized. And that, this is the thing. I'm going to be doing a lot of radio-oriented stuff in the next few months because I am a radio person. I've always said that. I worked in radio for 2.5 years, internet radio, with discjockey.com from March of 1998 till September of 2000 when we went belly up because of the .com issue and the Napster lawsuit. And those were 2.5 of the best years of my life, and my late boss, Rich Chadwick, was just a terrific person to work for, and we had similar ideas, although we clashed quite a bit, because he wanted to do traditional radio on the internet, and I wanted to open up the box like everybody else was doing. And together we met in the middle and started to make some of our wildest dreams come true before the dot-com crunch had hit. I have no doubt that if we had been able to keep going, we probably would be way better off now than we are, because it was a lot of fun. I will be eventually posting some of the stuff I did for Disc Jockey. It's got the Disc Jockey jingles on it and doofy old me hosting. I'll have some of that up eventually too. But radio is where I'm shifting some of the interest of the channel toward. It's going to stay where it is, still vinyl centric, music centric, but I do want to talk about radio, and I've got some new shows coming up that are going to be dealing with radio, and hopefully that'll be fun for you too as well. In any case, I'm still working on the lighting, still working on the camera. I will get more stuff up as things start coming back online, and hopefully we'll be back up to full production in the next few days to the next couple of weeks, which is what I've been saying for the last 6 months. But the CDs are done almost, and I've got all the filed CDs done. I've been doing the boxed ones slowly the last couple of weeks, and those should be finished within. I have 3 days off this week because Kim has a medical procedure on Wednesday, and then Juneteenth is Thursday, and then I took Friday off because I wanted a long weekend. So I have lots of time this coming week to get things done, and it's going to be hopefully great when everything finally does get finished and I get the lighting done and everything. But in any case, I just wanted to keep you up to date on where I am, and I've rambled enough here. That is Inside the Butt Booth for this week.
An hour of lively discussion about music from two huge music fans. Finding your music mojo with TC and Dawn. Live alternate Mondays, 7 p.m. US ET. TKR Video Central and 2 Hip Chips on YouTube, and TKR Video Central on Twitch. Like what you see? Level up! Become a TKR patron. We can always use more supporters of our channel. Click on the Patreon link in the show description. Stay ahead of dangerous weather no matter what the season. Stay aware and stay safe. PNR WeatherCentral on YouTube.
Quite strong with it, we fear. Left. Whoa, another one. It's moving through populated areas. You folks in downtown Moore and west and East Moore, downtown Moore and East Moore have a little bit of time, few minutes, to get below ground. This storm, mobile homes, pre-manufactured homes will not survive this. Many wood frames homes will not survive this particular storm. Yeah, Jerry.
7 miles south of Will Rogers looking northeast.
There's so much seriousness on this week's show. If you saw that clip, you may not know who this gentleman is, but he was a big, important part of my life because I am a weather nerd. Gary England passed away this week. He was 85 years old. Gary was the principal weatherman for over 30 years for TV9 in Oklahoma City. He was the co-developer of the first response or first alert system. Let me pull up his wiki just to be safe here so I don't get it wrong. It was called First Warning, and this is what many television stations across the country now use during severe weather. It's the small box usually appearing at the top of the bottom of the screen with the weather radar or a county map and a crawl indicating the currently active severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings. He helped develop that system. He was also the first weatherman to go on the air with a live Doppler radar in 1992, I believe it was, showing where a tornado could be in the Oklahoma City area. He was not the first to do radar. That belongs to Gil Whitney of WHIO in Dayton. They went live with an old-fashioned radar image of the tornado that wiped out Xenia, Ohio during the super outbreak in 1974. But Gary was the first to use Doppler to do the same thing. His chilling "you have to be underground to survive" warning during the 1999 Moore, Oklahoma tornado is legendary among storm people like myself. I've read his book, Weathering the Storm. It's in my collection over here. And for many years, as I said, for over 30 years, he was with KWTV, TV9 in Oklahoma City. He made an appearance via archive clip in the very beginning of the 1996 movie Twister. He is the forecaster warning Joe's father that there's a tornado on their way that's going to wipe them out if they're not careful. Gary England was a true goat of weather forecasting. There are only a few people involved with TV meteorology that have that distinction. He is one of them, and he was one of the originals. He had started for KWTV in 1972, and he stayed there through 2003. The amount of good he did as a meteorologist and the amount of lives he saved as the TV9 on-air meteorologist over the years cannot be discounted. He was an amazing forecaster who knew his profession inside and out, loved deeply his Oklahoma City viewers, and wanted to make sure to keep them safe as possible. He frequently spoke, he frequently wrote, until his retirement in the mid-2010s. And even then, he was still working on stuff behind the scenes. He suffered a stroke about 4 weeks ago and was in hospice care, where he passed away on June 10th at the age of 85. Gary, we will always be indebted to your contributions to the weather science that has become now a different monster altogether. When you were on and you started, you were only TV and radio did it. Now, your legacy has provided the means for people like Max Velocity and Ryan Hall and Mitch West and others to do what they do on the internet, on YouTube and online and on their own sites, and keep many, many more people safe. And for that, we will always be grateful. Godspeed and God bless, Gary.
An in-depth look at the artists who helped shape the music fan TC became. Influencers, Tuesday, 4 p.m. USET, TKR Video Central on YouTube.
The stories of labels that burned brightly for a short while, then winked out. Label Nova, alternate Fridays, 4 p.m. USET, TKR Video Central on YouTube. It has been ages since I did a shout out, and I'm going to shout out this dude because I've done him before, but he really deserves it now. My pal Ben Minnotte over at Oddity Archive has recently posted part of his record collection, and he talks eloquently about it in an episode. He's also said in his recent live chat that he had done 3 episodes of Oddity Archive called Vinyl Potpourri. Each one was kind of centered around particular topics, and they were infinitely fascinating. And he's also done 3 episodes or 4 episodes now of the vinyl collection, and he also appeared with Dawn and I on Finding Your Music Mojo last year, talking about rip-off records or sound-alike records on the show we did on that. I'm going to have show links to Ben's 3 vinyl potpourri and his 4 vinyl collection videos, or 3 vinyl collection videos. I've got them all over here on my thing. And because Ben is an acquired taste, and I freely admit that, but Kim and I acquired it the second we watched him. We've been watching his Oddity Archive show for about 3 or 4 years now, and we've gone back and watched a ton of his older stuff. He's been doing it for over a decade. He's a musician. He's a brilliantly creative creator on YouTube, and I hope that you guys will get a kick out of his way of looking at vinyl, because he's not always as reverent as some of us are, and yet he is, but he couches it with his usual dry sense of humor and a little bit of snarkiness to boot, and it's always worth it. So I'm going to leave you 7 or 8 links in the show notes. Please go check them out and take a look at Ben's shows, because they're well worth seeing. So Out of the Archive with Ben Minnotte, giving you a huge shout out, my friend, and I hope things are continuing to settle down for you. I know he's had some personal issues, family issues, that he's talked about on his channel that we're all aware of, those of us who watch are aware of, and hoping things are continuing to settle down for you. And I hope you get a lot of hits after I did this shout out.
How much do you know about chart hits from a particular year or a particular topic? Find out. Play the TKR Pop 50 Challenge, Saturdays 11 a.m. USET, TKR Video Central on YouTube.
I think this has rambled on long enough. I'm going to get out of here. We do have a live Finding Your Music Mojo Monday at tomorrow at 7 p.m. Dawn and I have not picked a topic yet. I don't know what she's doing. She's hosting, so it will be on here on TKR Video Central. It's also available on Two Hip Chicks, and I hope that you will be there for that. We always have a lot of fun with the people who come in and chat with us. It's always a blast. As I said, I'm developing a few new shows I'm going to be premiering over the next few months, centered on radio. I'll be talking a lot about those in the future, and I'm getting things done around here. That's about all I can do, plus I'm working 2 days a week, and I'm finding my time is a little bit cut off, but I am able to do some work at work for my stuff, research stuff, so that's always good. It's all coming back together slowly, and will continue to do so. And I cannot know how I'm doing without comments. You guys need to leave comments on the website. This week there'll also be a new Kim Takes On. Kim didn't get any comments on her last show. She was very disappointed. So please, if you haven't watched it, go over and watch it and comment on it. She'd like to know what you think of it. She will be talking about a lot of different things over the years, and she does things that are not always music. She does entertainment oriented stuff, wrestling oriented stuff, Star Wars, Godzilla oriented stuff. She'll have a new episode up on Tuesday at 7. And in any case, actually, if I don't get influencers up, it'll be Tuesday at 4. If I am able to do influencers, it'll be Tuesday at 7. So it'll be up at one of those 2 times. In any case, I hope that you will like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and if you have, thank you very much. Getting closer and closer to 1,400 subscribers. My end of the year goal is 2,000. We'll see if we can make it. I don't know yet. We're halfway through the year almost, and I've gone up by about 500 subs since the end of last year, so that's cool. And I hope to make it to 2,000 by the end of the year. Don't forget to check out all the regular programming we have here, and keep in touch through the comments. You can also email me with any concerns you have. And please, if you'd like to, I will be making shows available early on Patreon. If you're a member of the Patreon Circle Plus level of $7.99, you will be getting shows 24 to 48 hours early, starting this coming week. I wasn't able to start this week because of the issues with the cameras. But they will start doing that this week, and if that's a cool perk for you, come over and join us, because it's always great, and we could certainly use the support, because we put a lot of time and effort into this, and having your support really, really helps. In any case, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you all have a wonderful week. May we not have another week of horrible passings like we had this week. And may everybody have a wonderful week throughout, including holiday on Thursday, the 19th. If you celebrate it, Juneteenth, more power to you. If not, hopefully you'll at least have a day off work. And that's cool. For the Kirkham Report, I'm TC Kirkham, TKR Video Central. Hoping you're having a great week, and I'm saying I will see you on the interwebs. Ciao, baby.